Hi students, hope you all are doing good. Let us continue with the entrance corner 4, question number 10, right? Last class we did up to question number 9. So if you see question number 10, it is something which we did yesterday also. There is a point charge plus 10 microcoulomb at a distance 5 centimeter directly above the center of a square of side 10 centimeter. So there is a square. The side of the square is 10 centimeter and directly above the center. So if this is the if imagine this is the square, then above the center they put a charge. Okay, and the charge is kept at a distance of 5 centimeter. So this is 5 centimeter. The value of the charge is given 10 microcoulomb. Okay, you have to find flux through this surface. You know that point charge emits radially outwards electric field. So some of the electric field lines will cut this surface. And if the lines of electric field cut a surface, then we say there is a electric flux through the surface. So how to find the flux through this surface? Yesterday I told you the technique. You construct a closed surface by drawing this cube. Okay, so now this charge you can see will be at the center of this cube because this is 5 centimeter and the side is 10 centimeter, right? So this will be 10, but the charge is kept how far? 5 centimeter they told. So the charge is in the center of this cube. Okay, now this cube is a closed surface. So to find flux through the cube, we can use Gauss law, which says flux through a closed surface is charge inside, which is Q divided by epsilon naught. But we want flux only through this surface. Now you know that charge is at the middle, so flux through this surface will be same as this surface will be same as all the 6 surfaces because the charge is in the middle. So as many lines will cut this surface, that many lines will cut every other surface also. And total how many surfaces are there? 6 surfaces are there, or I can say 6 faces are there, faces. So flux through this face they want. Flux through one face, that will be 1/6 of flux through the cube. Because if you cross multiply, you know that 6 times flux through one face will be the flux through the cube. So this will give you Q by 6 epsilon naught. The value of Q is given 10 microcoulomb. Micro means 10 power minus 6. And this epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. Right? Let us try to solve approximately because this is entrance problem. So approximately if I do 6 into 8, if I do is 48, but this is more than 8, no, this is 8.85. So this will come around 49 like that. So approximately let's say 49 into 10 power minus 12 will go up plus 12, so it will be plus 6. Now if I take 10 from here, it will be 100 divided by 49 into 10 to the power 5. So this will be approximately, this is around 50. Right, so if this is 50, answer will be what? 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per coulomb meter square. But since this is not 50, this is 49, answer will be slightly less than 2, maybe 1.98 something. Okay, so this number will be around 9 or 8 like that. So what you should do now, check with which option it is closest. Option A, 1.88. So if you do it correctly, you will get 1.88. Okay, so exactly again if you want to do, it will take more time, so try to do approximately and then check which option is the closest one. Let us see now the next question, question number 11. A charge small q is uniformly distributed on a ring of radius small r. So there is a ring and charge small q is uniformly distributed. Okay, so let us say this is your ring. Okay, every ring will have some radius, no? Radius is, they are saying, small r, and there is charge uniformly distributed. Okay, this is a ring. Okay, not a sphere. Let me mention here, it is a ring in the question. Now the charge is q, total charge is q. So what will be lambda? What was the meaning of lambda? Charge per unit length. So if you take the total charge in the question, it is q, and the total length of this ring will be 2 pi r. This you know, right? Let us keep this here. Maybe we may need it later on. What is the question? But the question is a sphere of equal radius, same as this r, is constructed with its center at the rim of the ring. At the rim. Rim means this perimeter. Okay. So the center of the sphere should be in the perimeter of this ring. Center of the sphere. So it should be somewhat like this. The sphere should be here. Center of the sphere should be here. See, I can draw big also, no? With center here. But they say the radius of the sphere should be same as this ring. Should be same as ring's radius. So let me construct the sphere this side. So it will look exactly same like this. So like this, okay? So this is your sphere, okay? Not a very nice diagram, I know. So imagine something like this. So this is your sphere. The center of the sphere is at the perimeter, they told. At the rim, they said rim word. Rim of a ring means perimeter. So center of this sphere should be at the perimeter and the radius of this is same as this r. Okay. Now the question is, what is the flux through this surface they are asking? Flux through this surface. Now, since it is a sphere, it is a closed surface, and for closed surface we can use what law? Gauss law. So to find flux through this sphere, what I have to do? So flux through the sphere, I can write directly charge inside divided by epsilon naught. Now the point is, how do I find the charge inside? Now look carefully. Can I say the whole charge of the ring, which was Q? Can I say the whole charge is inside this sphere? No, only this much is inside. Let me darker this part, okay, darker. So only this much is inside. Yes or no? Inside the sphere. So we need to find charge of this length. In this length. Let us say this length is L. This much length is L. Okay. Then what will be the charge inside? Lambda into length, because lambda is charge per unit length, into length will give you the charge of that much length. Now lambda we know is Q divided by 2 pi r, because the answer should be in terms of total charge. L, how to find this length? Now look carefully. This is r because they told radius of the sphere is same as the ring. So this is r. What about this distance? That is also r because this is radius of this ring. What about this? That is also r because that is radius of this sphere, this one, which is also r they told. So this is r, this is r, this is r. So this triangle is equilateral triangle. So this angle should be 60 degree. 60 degree means how much radian? Let me write 60 degree right now. So 60 degree. Understood? So this also will be same thing if I do here. This also will be 60 degree. Same thing. Let me remove this r now. So this will be 60 degree. Same thing if I do. So this total angle is 120 degree. So I want to know length of this part. Because that much is inside the sphere. And from that point, if I draw these lines, this is the center. This total angle is how much? 120 degree. 60 plus 60. Now this radius is r. So when you want arc, what is the formula for angle? This is the angle. What is the formula for angle? Arc by radius. Yes or no? We want to know this length. This is your arc, which I am calling L. So I have to write arc length is L. So L will be angle into radius. Now what is the angle? So this is 120 degree, but I need in radian. So this will be also 120 degree. If I write 2 pi, that is 360 degree divided by 3. Right? So 2 pi by 3 radian is 120 degree. So the length will be, angle is 2 pi by 3, radius is r. So I found the length which is inside this sphere. So let us substitute here. How much I got? 2 pi by 3 into r. So you can see 2 pi will cancel, r will cancel. So charge inside is q by 3. Another easy way to find is what? See, I want charge in this length. Yes or no? This angle is how much? 120. Now this whole 360 will be divided into 3 120. So 120 here. If you draw one line here, 120 here, 120 here. Right? So each 120 degree will get 1/3 of this charge. So directly also I can write 360 degree has q charge. Yes or no? Whole angle has q charge. So 120 degree will have how much charge? 1/3, because 120 degree is 1/3 of 360 degree. So directly also you can write actually. Okay. So charge inside is how much? Q by 3 and then divide by epsilon naught. So this will be your answer. Not this will. This is the flux, no? So this is the flux through the sphere. So flux through the sphere is charge inside I calculated here q by 3 divided by epsilon naught. Okay. Let us see next question now. So the next question is very interesting. This one also. It is taken from NCERT Exemplar. Nowadays, in NEET exams, you see many questions which are from NCERT Exemplar book. So all the MCQs we have included in our material. All the MCQs in NCERT Exemplar book we have included in our material, so that you will have knowledge of all the kind of questions which are in the NCERT Exemplar book. Let us see question number 12 now. 5 charges Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 and Q5 are fixed at their positions as shown in the figure. Then they are saying consider a Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface must be what kind of surface? Closed surface. Then Gauss law states, they have written Gauss law also. So let us write down. So the diagram is like this. This is your Gaussian surface. Yes, okay. And one charge is here. Let me look carefully. This is Q2. This is Q4. Here is Q1. Here is Q5. And here is Q3. Okay. They are asking you, Gauss law says flux. How do you write flux? E dot dA. No? Actually, we write E dA cos theta, but here they are writing in the form of dot product. A bar dot B bar is AB cos theta. So that is equal to Q by epsilon naught. This is how they are given in the question. They are asking which of the following charges out of these 5 charges, which of the charges are responsible for this E on the left side and for E. Only for this E they are asking. Okay. So out of these 5 charges, which charges are responsible for this E they are asking. So charges responsible for E. This they are asking out of these 5 charges, because there will be electric field on this surface. No, I hope all of you remember this E means electric field and this means flux through this surface. So to calculate flux through this surface, what we have to do? Divide this surface into small parts. Then find flux through one part. That means E represents electric field here. Then you have to go here. Then you have to go here. That way you have to integrate to find the total flux. Okay. Now, which charges out of these 5 is responsible to produce electric field on this surface? That is the question. So this E will be on the surface. Now, many students think that, oh sir, according to Gauss law, we know that only the charge inside is present. This is what charge? Charge inside. So if they ask this Q is what in this problem? So this Q will be Q2 plus Q4. No doubt, because only these two are inside. But that does not mean these charges will not produce electric field here. No. So if I want to calculate electric field here, I have to use superposition principle, and therefore I have to calculate electric field here due to each charge. So electric field is produced by all charges. So charges responsible for electric field are which charges? All charges. So don't think this E is produced by only charges inside. Yes, while calculating the flux, only the charges inside are responsible while calculating the flux. Okay, but while calculating the electric field, all charges are responsible. But while calculating the net flux through the closed surface, only charges inside are responsible. So in order to understand this in a simple way, look here. If you look at this charge, this will produce electric field lines like this. So you can see lines of electric field are only going out from this surface. These lines are going out. So there will be some net positive flux. Similarly, lines of electric field from this charge will come out. But if you take any outside charge, you see if you draw lines, how it will go like this. So it will come in also and out also. So this will produce negative flux, this will produce positive flux. So this will be useless to calculate the flux through this surface. Understood? So it's very easy way to understand that the charges outside are not important while calculating the flux. But electric field they are asking is due to all the charges. Electric field is produced by charges. Yes or no? So please do not think electric field is only due to these two. Electric field is due to all the charges. Hope you all understood very nicely. Let us now see the next question. So like these students, you have to think carefully, okay? In exam, no, they may ask any kind of question and they will try to confuse you with such questions. You should be smart. Question number 13. So to answer question number 13, first you have to see one concept, and the proof of this concept I will be giving in the next chapter. But since this question is here, I will do it now only. But concept you see, okay? Electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of a conductor. So if you have a conductor like metals, then electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of conductor, and electric field is zero inside the body of the conductor. Inside the conductor. Okay, so this is something you should try to remember. This is easy to understand. This is easy to understand. Because I have told you, whatever charge you give in conductor, the charges will stay in the outer surface. So it will be like a shell. Because in shell also the charges was only on the outer surface. So similar to shell, to a conductor when you give charge by any process, that charge will stay only on the outer surface. Because they repel each other, I told, like charges repel each other. So they go as far as possible. So the best way is to stay on the outer surface. Therefore, there is no net charge inside the conductor. Understood? And since it is similar to now shell, electric field inside the conductor will be zero. And outside, even if there is electric field, the direction should be perpendicular to the surface. So outside the conductor, electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. Proof of this I will be giving to you in the next chapter. Okay, so please remember this. So remembering this concept, let us now easily answer question number 13. So a point positive charge is brought near an isolated conducting sphere. The electric field is best given by, there are 4 diagrams. So which will be the right diagram? Okay, so here there is a conductor and here there is a plus charge, point charge. Okay, this is a conductor, remember. Okay. So how the electric field lines will look like, that is the question. Now imagine this conductor was not there, then electric field lines will be radially outwards, right? But now it will not go radially outwards. Here it will be like this, but here it will go like this. Why it will go like this? Because I said, if this is the center, I said the electric field lines, this is nothing, okay? This is the lines will not, inside the conductor I told electric field is zero. So these lines cannot go inside. So why they go like this? Because I told outside it should be perpendicular. If it doesn't look perpendicular, you have to make it look perpendicular. and perpendicular to a sphere means this line should go through center. So this is how electric field lines look like. Okay, so they will start like this, but as they reach the conductor they will terminate this way. Why? Because just outside the conductor the electric field line should be perpendicular to the surface. And another way to understand this is very simple. If you remember induction process, then what happens when you keep plus charge here, this side all the electrons here will be attracted this way, the free electrons. So this side will become negative and that side will become positive. So here electric field lines will start from positive and it will end on this negative charge. Similarly that side it will start like this. Here it will be away. Here it has to start perpendicular then away. Okay, perpendicular then away. Perpendicular then away, like this. So this is how the electric field lines will look like. So if you see which is the closest answer, so 2 is wrong because in 2 lines are coming in. It cannot come in because this is positive, so it will be away. So 2 is wrong. 4 is completely wrong. 3 is also wrong because the line should terminate perpendicularly to the surface. Again, the proof I will give later. But for a conductor, the electric field line just outside the conductor must be perpendicular to the surface. Reason you will come to know. So the best option is option A, the first diagram. Okay, so option A is the correct one. So let's see question number 15 now. What will be the total flux through the faces of the cube? So the faces of the cube means flux through the whole cube they are asking. Right? They want flux through the faces of the cube. So they want flux through the cube with the side of length A, when with side of length A is a charge Q is placed at A, B, C and D respectively. So here is a cube like this. Here is the cube. This is question number how much? 15. And they are keeping charges at points one by one, okay, not all at the same time. So one point here is A, one point here B, one point here C. This is the center of one face, and another point is in the middle D. So if you keep charge Q here and then here and then here and then here, you have to find flux through the cube in each case. So if you keep charge here, let us start with here. So if you keep charge here, let me write red color. So if you keep charge here, then what will be the flux through the cube? This is at the corner. So yesterday I have done what to do if the charge is in the corner. So you make one cube here, one cube here, one cube here. So 4 cubes. Then below you put another 4 cube. So that way 8 cubes if you put, this charge will be in the middle of the big cube. So if you keep charge at A, then the flux through the cube, flux through one of the cube, this cube will be 1/8 of the flux through the big cube. And flux through the big cube we can use Gauss law because this will be inside that big cube. Yes or no? So 1/8 of Q by epsilon naught. This is the total flux through the big cube. So if the charge is at A, then it means it is at the corner. And already we have done yesterday. Put one cube here, one cube here, one cube here. So 4 cubes. Then below you put another 4 cubes. Then this will be at the center of that big cube. Since this is at the center, it means the flux through each small cube, which is the question, will be same. So since it is same, I can write 8 times flux through one small cube will be equal to flux through the big cube. Yes or no? Then to find flux through small cube, you write this 8 here, 1 by 8. Understood? No? Okay. So this part was easy. This we have done already. Now second, if you keep Q at B, here if you keep here, then what you have to do? Put one cube here. one cube here. Then put below 2 more cubes. Then you can see this will be at the center of this big cube, right? So put one cube here like this, like this, like this. Then put another cube here, another cube here. Then this will, so the distance of this charge from this cube or this cube or this cube or this cube will be equal. So then I can say when you keep this charge at point B, flux through the cube will be 1/4. Why 1/4? Because there are 4 cubes now, but the charge is here. So you have to keep one cube here, one cube here, one cube here, right? Are you understanding or not? So this is the cube they have given. We have kept the charge here, right? They have put the charge at this point. Here they have kept. So now how many cubes you need to surround to put here so that this cube will be at the center. So I'm putting one cube like this here, then I'll put one more cube like this, then one more cube like this, right? Are you understanding? So here 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is at the center. So you can see flux through this big cube. What will be that? You can use Gauss law because this charge is inside. Here you cannot use Gauss law. See, if you put this charge here, you cannot use Gauss law for this cube, because to use Gauss law, the charge should be inside. So if you keep charge at point B, you don't need to put 8 cubes like I told. You have to put just 4 cubes. Then what will be flux through one cube? That is the question. So flux through one cube will be 1/4 of flux through this cube. And for this cube, we can use Gauss law. So it will be charge inside divided by epsilon naught. So this will be the flux through this cube if you keep charge at which point? B. Now if you put charge at C, C is this point. This I have told you already yesterday. Put one more cube here, just one more cube. Then this will be at the center of these 2 cubes. Then flux through one cube will be directly 1/2 of total flux. And total flux is Q by epsilon naught for these 2 cubes. Understood? No, for C. And for D, let me rub this part. Okay. So let me show you this separately here. So this is my cube. These are very interesting problems. Okay. So they are keeping it here. So they are keeping the charge at this point. This point. Here. This is your D. Okay, here they are keeping. So how to surround? This is B. Okay. So how to put on other cubes so that this comes at the not center, but this should be at same distance from the cubes. Well, if you put 4 cubes, then you know this will be nearer to this cube. So the best way to do is put just one more cube. Exact cube you put. Okay. So if you do like this, then you can see this one, the way this charge is kept on this for this cube, same way it is kept for this cube also. Yes or no? So the way this charge is, where it is, see, it is between the center of this face and this point for this cube. But that is same for this cube also, no? So this charge is placed symmetrically for the 2 cubes. So the number of lines cutting this cube will be same as cutting that cube. So the total flux, what can I say? Total flux through both the cubes. Since it is inside, I can use Gauss law for both the surface. For both the cubes, if I want to use Gauss law, what I should do? Charge is inside. What is the charge inside? Q divided by epsilon naught. So flux through only one cube, if I ask, it will be half of this. You understood, right? Okay. So it doesn't matter whether this Q is dead center here or here. You can just put one more cube this side, and then you can see by symmetry, the number of lines cutting this cube will be same as cutting this cube. And they asked only flux through the cube, remember. So what is the answer? If you keep the charge at A, this much will be the flux, which we did yesterday also. This one we did today. If you keep charge at point B, and this is if you keep the charge at C, this is if you keep the charge at D. Okay, think carefully once. So which will give you the right answer, which is the option Option A. Okay, so option A is the right one. Fine. Let us see next question now. Next question is quite interesting. Okay, after this we will do one more question. That question has come in KVPY exam. Okay, so that next question will be understood easily if you understand this question first. So this is like the easier version of the next question. Okay, so listen carefully what the question says. A point charge capital Q is located just above the center of the face of a hemisphere of radius capital R as shown in the figure. What is the electric flux through the curved surface and through the flat surface? So what they are saying is there is a hemisphere like this. This is your hemisphere, okay? And this is question number 16. They have kept a charge slightly above this center of this flat surface here, Q. And the distance, this distance, they are saying is delta, and they are saying delta tends to 0. This is your very, very important point. Very important point. Without this, we will not be able to solve. But since they have given this distance, they are saying is almost 0, but not 0. 0 means where it will be on this point. So that now think this way. Look carefully. Suppose I keep the charge here itself, not above, but here itself. Then what will be the flux through the flat surface? If I keep this way, okay, if I keep the charge here, what will be flux through this flat surface? So flux through flat surface, it will be 0 because any line you draw that will be parallel to this surface, and these lines of electric field will not cut this surface, and these lines will cut this surface, not the flat surface. So if the charge is kept on the, so if this is your flat surface, let me try to show you properly. If this is your flat surface and you keep charge here, then how do you draw electric field lines for a point charge? Radially outwards. So these lines are not going to cut this surface. These lines are not going to cut this surface. Any line here will be parallel to the surface. So there will be no flux through that surface. So flux through this flat surface will be 0, and flux through this curved surface if they ask. What did I do? What did I tell how to do this? You imagine one more hemisphere here I told. Remember or not? Then flux through this curved surface will be Q by epsilon naught is the flux through the whole sphere. Half of that will be flux through the curved surface. So this is how you can do the problem if this charge was kept at the center. But this charge in the question is slightly above. Slightly above. So if I draw you separately, the charge is slightly kept above. So if you draw electric field lines, you can see it will look like this. Yes or no, students? So if you look at the flat surface, the lines are entering, and here the lines are coming out. But notice something. Whatever lines come out of this are those lines which have to come into this surface. Correct or not correct? You cannot pass one line through this without cutting this surface. You cannot cut this surface. You cannot cut this line. Cannot cut the curved surface without cutting the flat surface. It has to cut flat surface also and curved surface also. So in this case, if I ask flux through this closed hemisphere, flux through the closed hemisphere. Okay, closed hemisphere means this. This is also closed. No, if I include the top surface also, top surface including this curved surface together, if I consider it is closed surface. So what will be there from your Gauss law? Charge inside divided by epsilon naught. But charge is not inside; it is just outside, little bit outside. So since it is still outside, this will be 0. Now, flux through closed hemisphere, I can write flux through flat surface plus flux through curved surface, 0. Now, flux through curved surface will be this only. You will say, sir, no, this is, how you can say this, this is only true if the charge is kept on the surface. But they told this delta is almost 0, but meaning this charge is almost on the surface but slightly outside, which means flux through this surface will not be 0. See, if it was at the center of this surface exactly, then all these lines will be parallel to this surface, so there will be no electric flux through this. But if it is kept slightly outside also, there will be lines cutting this surface inward, so this will not be 0, but this value will be same as this because this is almost 0. So in the limit, if you do the calculation, there's no need to do the calculation. If you do in the limit, then as you keep making this smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, the flux through this curved surface answer will become nearer and nearer to this one. So I can write flux through flat surface, I don't know, but flux through curved surface I know, q by 2 epsilon naught. So then what will be flux through flat surface? Minus q by 2 epsilon naught. Are you happy to see the minus sign? Are you happy to see the minus sign for flux through flat surface? Yes, you should be happy because when lines enter the surface, if they cut inwards, then I told you what? Flux will be negative. So this is how beautifully this question has been designed, okay? And I hope everybody understood. By using this analogy, you try to solve this. Okay, so only difference is in this case flux through the flat surface is exactly 0, whereas here the flux through the flat surface will be negative of flux through the curved surface because the charge is still outside. It may be slightly outside, but it is still outside. But the numerical value will approach this answer because this gap is tending to 0. That's why this was very important, I told. If this was not mentioned, we cannot solve the problem at all. We cannot solve. Okay. So let us now do question number 17. So if you understood question, sorry, we'll do question number 17 now. So if you understood question number 16, this 17 will be very easy, and this question has come in KVPY also. So the question is like this, listen carefully. There is a cube like this, and this point they are saying A. Let me not mark dark it too much. So this point is A, this point is G, and other points are B, C, D. Okay, no need to write. Then they are saying if you draw this body diagonal means this line is through the inside of the cube. They have kept a charge slightly on this line but slightly outside the cube. This point is A, and they have kept charge Q here. Okay, positive charge, and this distance delta, like in the previous question, is tending to 0, but this gap is actually very small. So they are asking you flux through the side which contains this point A. Okay, so now can you tell me how many sides are there which contains this point A? 3 sides, no? This one, and the top one. So let us give them some symbol. So let us say phi 1 is flux through side meeting A, point A. Then let us also write phi 2 as flux through side not meeting point A. Now how many sides will be not meeting point A? These other 3 sides. This one, back side, and this below side. Right? Okay. Now students, since they are saying this gap is very small, if you remember the problem that we did yesterday and even today I have revised, if you keep the charge exactly here, then what was the flux through this cube directly? You cannot use Gauss law for this cube because this charge is not inside. So what did I do? I made one cube here, one cube here, one cube here. Then I put 4 cubes on top. So total how many cubes were there? 8 cubes. So flux through the 8 cubes will be how much? Q by epsilon naught by using Gauss law. For that big cube, I can use Gauss law because this charge will be inside that big cube. Then flux through this cube. will be 1/8 of flux through the big cube, because there are 8 such cubes. Fine. Okay. Now I told you, in this case, this phi1, which is flux through the side meeting A. So if this charge was exactly at A, then this phi1, which is what? Flux through the side meeting A. So flux through this side, or this side, or this side, that was 0 if you remember. Why? Because see, if this is the surface and your charge is here, exactly here, then how does electric field lines you draw? Radially outwards. So this line here, this line here is not cutting the surface, and any line that you draw like this will be on the surface. No, so on the surface means again there will be no flux. To have flux, the line should cut the surface. From beginning I am telling you. So flux through this face or this face or top face will be 0. Therefore flux through the other face, either this face or this face or the down face, that will be 1/3 of flux through the cube, because out of the 6 faces only 3 faces are contributing to the flux. So it will be flux through one face will be 1/3 of flux through the cube, which is q by 8 epsilon, which is q by 24 epsilon. So this we already know. This we know from yesterday's discussion. We have understood this. Try to revise if you have forgotten. Okay. Now come back to this. In this question, the charge is near to this point, I know, because this gap is almost 0, but still it is outside. No. So if it is outside, what will be flux through this cube? Flux through this cube will be what? 0, because there is no charge inside. So if you use Gauss law for this cube, you must get 0. Now I can write flux through the cube as 3 times flux through the face which is meeting A, 3 because there are 3 faces, plus 3 times flux through another 3 faces, right, which do not meet point A. That should be 0. 3 and 3 I can cancel by taking this side. So what will I get? Phi 1 will be minus of phi 2. They want phi 1. Before phi 1 was 0, but now phi 1 will not be 0 because the charge is outside, so the lines will cut in. It will go into these surfaces. Now before it was not doing, no. So now the charge is basically outside. Okay, diagonally. So if this is the diagonal here, the charge is here. So these lines you can see will come in and then come out from here. Okay, and understanding or not, students, you have to think, so you have to imagine, because this is 3D, no. So if you keep the charge outside through this line, then when you draw electric field lines, these lines will cut in and then come out from that surface. So the flux through this, they were asking that we minus flux through this, but since this is very small, okay, if you take the limit of this, if you make this limit almost 0, then it will look like this. This diagram will look like this. If this gap is almost 0, then flux through that face which does not meet A, which I wrote phi 2, that will be this much. So here also that answer will become more and more this much. So it will become minus of q by 24 epsilon naught using this result. So this is how very nicely we have done a very complicated problem. Actually, this is very complicated. You ask this to some student, okay, it will be very confusing for those students who have not understood this kind of concepts which I'm explaining in this video. Okay, fine. So let us now continue with the so we have completed the entrance corner. So now we will do NEET questions, then we'll go for JEE questions. So let us now say NEET questions in the material. Question number 25 it is. What it says: a hollow cylinder has a charge q coulomb within it at the center. So this is your hollow cylinder, and the charge is at the center of this cube somewhere here. Q charge is there. If phi is the electric flux associated with the curved surface, so this is your curved surface. So flux through this curved surface they are calling as phi. So flux through this curved surface they are calling phi, because you know that lines of electric field will cut this curved surface also, and it will cut this flat surface also. They are asking you the flux linked with the plane surface A. So this is the plane surface A they are calling, this is C. So they want flux through this surface in terms of this flux. Now look here, total flux through the cylinder if I ask, can I use Gauss law? Yes, because this charge is inside. It doesn't need to be at the center. It can be here also, here also. But in the question, it is inside. At the center means it is inside the cylinder. No. So what would be flux? What would be flux through the cylinder? It will be Q divided by epsilon naught according to Gauss law. Now flux through cylinder, I can write flux through this flat surface phi C, flux through this curved surface phi B, plus flux through this flat surface phi A. Right? So this is the flux through the flat surface C, this is flux through the curved surface B, this is flux through this flat surface A. Now look carefully, this is at the middle, so as many lines will cut this surface will also cut this surface, yes or no students? So flux through A must be equal to flux through C. So I can write for flux through C, I can write flux through A, and flux through curved surface they wrote phi. Phi was given in the question. So flux through curved surface they told phi. This is flux through A. So phi A plus phi A will be 2 phi A equals to Q by epsilon naught. Take this phi that side, minus phi. So flux through this flat surface will be how much? Half of, bring this to this side, Q by epsilon naught minus phi. So beautiful question. What is the right answer? Right option? Option A. Okay, so it's a good question, simple. Let's see the next one now. Question number 26. 26 is something which similar to what we have done in our EPL numericals. Okay, so please try this problem yourself. It is quite simple. Let us go for question number 27. The electric field in a certain region is acting radially outwards. Electric field is acting radially outwards, they are saying, and is given by a formula E equals to capital A into small r. Okay, so electric field, first they told, this is question number 27. 26 students is similar to one that we did already, so please check. So electric field is radially outwards they are saying, so let's draw the diagram first. Radially outwards, and the formula for electric field they are writing A into small r. But what is small r? They must mention. So small r is distance from center. Without explaining what is given, there is no point of asking the question. Yes or no? You must mention what you have given, right, in the question. So r is distance from this center. Okay, this is r, or it could be this, any distance but from the center. A they should say is a constant. So this must be mentioned. What they are asking now? A charge contained in a sphere of radius small a centered at the origin of the field. So this is the field, it starts from this point, so this is the origin of the field. So they are asking charge contained in a sphere of radius a. So let me draw a sphere of radius a. So you can see this is a sphere of radius a. So this is your a. Now you can see electric field is radially outwards. Area vector of this surface, this is a sphere, no? So area vector for this part, this part, this part will be also outwards. So angle between electric field and area vector will be 0. So flux through this surface will be how much? Flux through this closed surface will be directly E into area of this. Area of this will be 4 pi a square. Yes or no, students? And this, according to Gauss law, is what? Charge inside divided by epsilon naught. So they want to know what is the charge inside, cross multiply. So charge inside will be E into 4 pi a square epsilon naught. Now this E they have given, and this R is distance from center. So here what will be your E at this point? If I ask what will be E, what will you be like? A into this R, but this R is distance from the center. That distance is your A here. No, that R is distance from center in the question. But here distance from the center is this A, because we need to calculate E on this surface, because we are calculating flux through this surface. Why? Because we want charge inside this closed surface. So when you want charge through a closed surface, what you do? Calculate flux through the closed surface. According to Gauss law, those two are related. Flux through a closed surface is equal to charge inside the closed surface divided by epsilon naught. So E will be A into small a. So A into small a 4 pi a square epsilon naught. So then it will become A cube. A into a square will be A cube. Which will be the right option? Option C. Let us see the next question now. Okay, next question is based on next chapter. So let us now go to JEE. So in JEE, the last question we did, if I remember, was 21. So today we have to do 22. So JEE question number 22. Look carefully. JEE question number 22. Okay. 6 charges, listen carefully, 6 charges are placed at the vertices of a regular hexagon as shown in the figure. So they have given you a hexagon like this. Okay. And there are 6 charges here, plus q, here minus q. So they are making it more interesting. This is minus q, this is minus q, this is plus q, this is plus q. And this distance is a. This distance is a. Side is a. Okay. So this will be the center. Here there is no charge. Okay, charge is here. Question is, the electric field on the line passing through this point O. So they want electric field in this line passing through this point. Now you will say, sir, why did you do like this? This line is also passing through O. This line is also passing through O. Read the question. And perpendicular to the plane of the figure. So this is the plane of the diagram. No, so it is that line is perpendicular to this diagram. Means it is this line. So they want electric field in this line at a distance x from this pole. Okay. So how will we do this? Please mention somewhere that x is much larger than this a. So this should be mentioned. Okay, this should be given. Okay. So students, look carefully. If I imagine these charges are here, then imagine these are the charges here. Imagine there is a hexagon here. Then this is the center. They want electric field at some point along this line. Now how many charges are there? 6 charges. So each charge will produce electric field. It will be very difficult to calculate electric field due to 6 charge, no? And then you have to add vectorially because we have to use superposition principle. 6 charges are there. So here we will use our smartness. So we look carefully. See, what is this? This, it's a dipole. Yes or no? What is this? Plus q minus. This is also a dipole. And what is this? This is also a dipole. So you can think there are 3 dipoles instead of 6 charges. 3 dipoles. And for each of these dipole, whether it is this one or this one or this one, they want electric field along this line. So what line is this? Equatorial or axial? Equatorial, because it is perpendicular to the line joining the charges. So they want electric field at this point. Okay. So let us say this point. Okay, this point, wherever they want, let me say it is P. It is not O. Okay, O is this point. They want at some point P. Now look carefully. From here, if I see from here like this point will be here on top of this point, right? Okay. Now due to this dipole, let us calculate electric field due to one dipole. What was the formula at equatorial point? P divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. 2 was not there. Okay, 2 is for axial point. So this is at equatorial point. Equatorial point. So you have to check the formula. Please, okay, remember the formulas which I have taught already. So P is the dipole moment. Now, what is dipole moment of this charge? Q into distance between them. Now, since this is hexagon, this will be A, this will be also A, this will be also A. So A, distance between them is 2a. So this is 2a divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. What was r, if you remember? Distance of the observation point from the center of the dipole. And in the question they told that distance is x. So I will write here x cube. Okay. So that is electric field due to one dipole. So if you remember, look here, this is plus q, this is minus q. Electric field at this point, which is at a distance r, was this formula. And dipole moment is from where to where? Minus q to plus q. Electric field was always opposite to dipole moment in equatorial point. In axial point, it was in the same direction as dipole moment. So electric field here will be in this direction, opposite to dipole moment. Understanding or not? So go back and revise this part. From diagram also it is easy to see. Due to plus it will be away, due to minus towards, so total will be this side. Now for this dipole, this point is here, remember, no? Don't forget, here. So this dipole has dipole moment here, no? So electric field will be this way. Are you understanding? Opposite of dipole moment. So this way means here. So this will be your electric field E. Due to this dipole, magnitude will be same, because this dipole also has dipole moment q into 2a. This dipole also has dipole moment q into 2a. So magnitude of electric field due to each dipole will be same, this only. But due to this dipole, it will be opposite to dipole moment. Dipole moment is from minus q to plus q. So electric field here due to this dipole will be that side. Due to this dipole due to this dipole, okay, second, this one. Dipole moment is this way, so electric field will be this way. And then due to this dipole, if you look at the dipole moment, it will be here, minus q to plus q. So electric field at this point will be opposite to this dipole moment, matlab this way. Fine, so we have to add these three electric fields. Now what will be this whole angle? Let us look carefully. This electric field was due to this dipole, no, it is here. So this electric field is here and this electric field is here. Now this angle will be how much? Let me draw the hexagon separately here. Okay. So this electric field will be this way when you see from the top, okay, and this will be this way. Now since it is a regular hexagon, each small triangle here will be equilateral triangle. So this will be 60, this will be also 60. So this angle will be 120 degree. So we have to add these two. Now you know, so many times I have told, vector A and vector A at 120 degree, resultant will be also A. So this E and this E, resultant will be E, which will add with the third electric field, that is also E. Understood? No? So this E and this E, total will be this side. Use parallelogram, this side. And that will be in the same direction as this E. So finally the net electric field will be how much? 2E. And what was E? Already I found here. Q 2A divided by 4 pi epsilon naught x cube. 2 and 2 will be 4. You can cancel with this 4. So let us see how the options have given. Options are given. Option C, you see it will match, because this 2 will cancel with 4. So very beautiful question, simple question. I hope all of you understood. Let us see now question number 23. Now let's see question number 23 now. It's a long question, so aram se you have to read. A point particle of mass small m is attached to one end of a massless, rigid, non-conducting rod of length L. Another point particle of the same mass is attached to the other end of the rod. So there is a rod, and at one end and other end they put two particles. And this is light. Light matlab opposite of darka, not opposite of heavy. So in light means this mass of this rod you can neglect. Okay. Massless rigid rod, they say, massless, and non-conducting also. So this is non-conducting, it is massless. and they have put two particles at the two ends of the rod. Now the two particles carry charges plus q and minus q, they are saying. So they carry charges plus q minus q. So you can now see it becomes a what? Electric dipole. The arrangement, this arrangement is held in a region of uniform electric field such that the rod makes a small angle theta around 5 degree with the field direction. So they have kept this dipole, now I can call it dipole, right? In a uniform electric field. So this is your uniform electric field. So they have kept the dipole somewhat like this. Okay. So the minus q should be here, okay, according to the question. In the diagram they have written plus q here, so that they have to slightly change. And this angle they have given theta. So change this minus q and plus q in the question. And this angle is very small, they are saying. Okay. Oh, sorry, minus q is here. Correct only. Minus q is here, plus q is here. So dipole moment is from where to where? Minus q to plus q. So correct only, no problem. So this is minus q, this is plus q, and this angle is theta, they are saying. The they want, what they want is expression, the formula for minimum time needed for the rod to become parallel to the field. Minimum time taken by this rod parallel to this field, they are asking. Now let us go back and remember what happens when you keep a dipole in a uniform electric field. Tell me, it will experience a torque. So because of this force, plus q will feel force in the direction of electric field, minus q will feel force in the opposite direction. This is minus q. So that will form a couple and therefore it will rotate. As it rotates, if you remember I told, as it rotates somewhere here it will reach. That time taken they are asking. Time taken for this rod to come parallel to the field. But do you think it will stop there? What will be torque at this position? At this position, what was the formula for torque? Pe sine theta. So when the dipole will become parallel to the field, electric field, theta will be 0. So if you put sine 0, what will be torque? 0. But does it mean it will stop? No, because it has motion. It already has motion, no inertia. So when pendulum comes to a mean position, it doesn't stop because it is moving already. So it continues. So this rod will continue like this, and when it reaches here, torque will be 0. That is the equilibrium position, if you remember my theory classes. But it will continue, and once it continues this side, now this torque will be acting this way, ulta. So it will slow down, stop, then again it will come back. So this dipole will oscillate. Okay, like this. So we have to find the time period of this oscillation first. Now, in first PU, to find time period of a body performing simple harmonic motion, the technique is find the acceleration and show that acceleration is equal to minus omega square x. This was the acceleration in SHM. In SHM, simple harmonic motion, this was the formula for acceleration of the particle which is performing simple harmonic motion. Now this is in linear SHM, linear, when it is moving this way. Now sometimes what happens, so like this rod, you see it goes like this. So that time this theta will keep oscillating. So right now theta is, let's say, 5 degree, then 0, then minus 5 degree, then again 0, 5 degree, 0, minus 5 degree. So that time the displacement is not changing, the angular displacement is changing. So that time you have to write this in terms of angular quantities. So what is, this is acceleration. So in rotation chapter, what is acceleration, partner? Angular acceleration minus omega square, and this is displacement, linear displacement. Who is the partner of linear displacement? Angular displacement, which is this theta, because this is the displacement from mean position, no, from mean position to this position. That is your angular displacement. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to find alpha in this problem. Now what is alpha? angular acceleration. How do you find usually acceleration? Force divided by mass. Similarly, how do you find acceleration? Angular acceleration. This is acceleration. Angular acceleration, how do you find in rotation chapter? The role of force is played by torque and the role of mass is played by moment of inertia. What is capital I? Moment of inertia. So students, these few things in first PU you must remember. And how do you calculate moment of inertia of a particle which is going like this around this axis? If this distance is r, what is the moment of inertia of a single particle? mr square. So all these things you must know. If you have any doubt in this, please mention in the comment section. Say that, sir, can you please revise SHM for us? Then I'll make a separate video and put it in the channel. Whenever you are free, you get time, read, try to study SHM from that video. Okay. So first few concepts should be clear. So let us come back here. We already know what torque is acting. No, this is the torque which brings it back, right? See, the forces are like this. So if you give displacement this way, this torque will bring it back. So this is your restoring torque. Restoring torque. You can put minus sign if you want, but let us say we are writing magnitude. Okay, now this torque should be what from this? Torque is I into alpha. So I into alpha. Now for small theta, the theta is small z. For small theta, sine theta is approximately theta. Best example is sine 0 is 0. Yes or no? Sine pi by 2 is not pi by 2, but sine 0 is 0. So sine small angle will be same as angle approximately. So use this. What will you get? PE theta equals to I alpha. So what will be alpha equals to PE divided by I times theta. Okay, so now compare this with SHM formula. So this is your alpha, this is your alpha. This is theta, this is theta. Minus sign I did not write because I was writing magnitude. But minus sign role is what? Minus sign means that torque is a restoring torque. So if your displacement, if your theta is this side, torque will be this side. Okay. So once we understand this, let us now find quickly. So if you compare these two, so angular frequency square, omega square will be what for this dipole system? PE divided by I. So now time period formula is what? 2 pi divided by omega. So that will be 2 pi root over this. Omega will be root over this. No. Divide by omega means this PE will be in the denominator. Moment of inertia will be in the numerator. So this is the time period of a dipole kept in a uniform electric field. And if you displace it from its equilibrium position, it will oscillate like this. And if the angle is small, in all SHM, no, the displacement should be small only. If you remember pendulum, when you did experiment also, your teachers will say to make the displacement small. So if you give small angular displacement, then you can replace sine theta by theta. Once you do that, you can see this formula for angular acceleration is matching with simple harmonic motion, except this I should say is your omega square. Okay students, so we know the time period. Okay, now in this question what they asked you, so look carefully. So this is your dipole. Okay, it was given some, this is the electric field here, let's say it was given some displacement like this and it was left. They asked time taken from here to here, here to here. No, they asked how much time, minimum time it will take for dipole to become parallel to the field. Why it comes here you understood, no, because of the torque. Now what I calculated is time period. Time period means if you start from here, time taken from here to here, this is one complete oscillation. So from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, that is called time period. But they want from here to here only, so they want 1/4 of the time period. So the required time is basically 1/4 of this time period. Matlab it will be, if I put here 2 pi root over I by PE divided by 4. So 2 and 4 you can cancel. So pi by 2 root over I divided by PE. Now in this problem, your system was this. Here M, one is plus Q, one is minus Q. And it rotates around the center of mass. And since the masses are equal, center of mass will be at the geometric center, at the middle. Okay, it will oscillate this way, no? Okay. Now, what is the dipole moment P? This charge into distance between them. Let us say this distance is 2a. If I say this distance is 2a, what will be dipole moment? Charge into 2a. So P I know. What about moment of inertia? Moment of inertia is, it is rotating around this axis. So this is going like this is going like this. So what is distance of this particle from the sea? This is the formula for moment of inertia. R is distance of the particle from the axis of rotation. So this dipole will rotate like this, about this axis. So from the particle to the axis, what is this distance? A, no? So moment of inertia of this particle will be ma square. For this particle also will be ma square. So moment of inertia is 2ma square. So once I found both of them, substitute here, because the answer is given in terms of charge and mass. So the time taken which they want will be pi by 2 root of moment of inertia is 2ma square, p is q into 2a, p is q into 2a into e. Okay, so 2 will cancel, 1a will cancel. So let us see which one matches with the right answer. Okay, here they told the length of the rod is L. So answer is in terms of L. So if this is L, if this length is L, that means 2A, which I took 2A, they are saying is L. So what will I do? Wherever is A, I'll put L by 2. So here is A, so put L by 2. So L by 2. So the final result will be, where shall I write? Somewhere here, no? Pi by 2 root of ML divided by Q E 2. This 2 will be there, okay? 2 Q E. Now can you see which is the right option? Pi by 2 ml by QE. In the book they have given B, but in my derivation I can see it is option A. It is option A. Okay. So I hope I have done correctly, right? This 2 and this 2 will cancel, right? And there was A here. There was 2A. Okay, let me just check once carefully. Okay. Let me just check once. This is the one I got. Now, what is the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia is 2ma square. 2ma square. What is P? Q into 2a. Q into 2a into E. So 1a is cancelled, 2 is cancelled. So time taken is equals to pi by 2 root of ma by QE. But in the option, they are asking in terms of L, and L is the length of that rod. So I wrote 2a, no, this distance. So in place of 2a, you have to write L. So wherever a is there, write L by 2. So we write L by 2, here L will come, here 2 will come. So option A will be correct. Okay. Let us see the next question. Oh, 24 is already we have done. So if you remember, the answer is 10 inverse root 2. Option D. We have done already. Check once. 25th question you see. Before we do question number 25, okay, let us see some simple problems before. This is some extra question. Suppose I give you a triangle, equilateral triangle, and I keep here one charge Q, and here one charge minus 2Q. And question is to find dipole moment of the system. Dipole moment symbol is P, right? So let us say the length of the side is L. So what is the dipole moment? First of all, how is a dipole means? You told plus q and minus q separated by a distance, right? I told like that, but look carefully. I can imagine this diagram like this also. Here q and here minus q and minus q and q. Same, no? Because minus q, if you add, you will get minus 2q. Now look carefully. This q and this minus q will form a dipole. This q and this minus q will also form a dipole. Yes or no? So dipole moment of this minus q and this q will be in this direction. Dipole moment is from where to where? Minus q to plus q. What will be the value of the dipole moment? Q into distance between them is L. Similarly, this minus q and this q will also form a dipole. Dipole moment is from minus q to plus q. This will be also P, and that will be also q into L. What is this angle now? 60 degree. So the total dipole moment of this system will be resultant of this dipole and this dipole. That will be root over p square plus p square plus 2pp cos of angle between them is 60. Cos 60 is half. This 2 and this 2 will cancel. So root of 3p square, which is root 3p, which is root 3 q into L. So very easily we have done, right? Another thing I wanted to discuss with you for a long time, I keep forgetting, is there was one question in one of the tests. A charge capital Q is to be divided into two parts, so that the force between the two parts at a certain distance, what kind of force, repulsive or attractive? If you divide this charge into two parts, if this is positive, the two parts will be also positive only. So if there will be repulsion, and if they want that repulsion to be maximum, then what should be the value of these two charges was the question. The answer is, in order for maximum repulsion, what is the formula? Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, because these are point charges. So the force is proportional to product of the charges. So if this is 10 coulomb, let's say, and I divide this into two parts, 2 and 8, 1 and 9, 4 and 6, 6 and 4, 3 and 7, 5 and 5. In which case the product will be maximum. 2 into 8 will be 16, 9 into 1 will be 9, 6 into 4 will be 64, 3 into 7 will be 21, 5 into 5 will be how much? 25. That time this product will be maximum, so force will be maximum. So in order for the force to be maximum between the parts, this charge should be divided equally. So this should be q by 2, this should be q by 2. So this should be the value of the two charges. Okay, so this question was asked. I've seen the solution, usually they will use differentiation and all. No need, it's simple, no. For force to be maximum, product should be maximum. That's it. Okay, so now let us do the JA question. Question number 25, I think, right? So read the question once. It says, consider the following situation. On a half ring, a charge plus q is uniformly distributed. So there is a half ring. So this is your ring. You take half of this ring. So in this half ring, there is a charge plus q which is uniformly distributed. This is plus q. Total charge is plus q. Okay. And another equal charge minus q is placed at the center of the ring. So at the center of the ring, they have kept a point charge, minus q. Question is, now this system is a dipole. This is a dipole. Why? Because this is plus q, this is minus q, some gap is there. Yes or no? So they are asking you what is the dipole moment of this system. Very interesting. Many students think, how to find dipole moment of this? Usually we know how to find dipole moment of point charges. Plus q here, minus q here. What is the dipole moment? Q into distance between the two charges. If you write the distance as 2a, then write here 2a, no problem. But that definition is for point charges. This is a half ring. So what will I do? Simple. Tell me what will be lambda of this. Charge on this length, q, divided by this total length. That will be half of 2 pi r. So radius is r, let's say. So that will be, this will be lambda, no? Total charge in this length divided by the length. This is not area, no? It is a length, no? Circle is a circumference is length only, perimeter 2 pi r. This is half of circle. So length will be half of 2 pi r, pi r. Now what we can do is we can think of this semi-circular ring as made up of small parts. So let me consider one small part here, which I will give a black color. So this small part, let's say, is at an angle theta from here, then this angle will be d theta, because it is a small angle of this theta. So this is theta. If you go slightly this side, you will get d theta. So this length will be how much? Length of this part, dl, will be how much? Since this is arc of a circle, no, I can write radius into this angle. This you know, right? So this is s, this is theta, this is r. What is s? Theta into r. But here this theta is your small angle, so I am writing d theta. Why I am choosing small? Because this will act like a point charge. What will be charge of this part? dq, lambda into dl. I can use this formula because lambda is constant, uniformly distributed, and lambda is q by pi r, and dl is what? R d theta. R d theta. So it is q d theta divided by pi. Now this and this you see. Now this minus q also you divide into minus dq minus dq minus dq, like that. Minus dq minus dq. So one of the minus dq, if you take this minus dq, which is part of this minus q, that minus dq and this plus dq will form a dipole, and dipole moment will be from minus dq to plus dq in this direction. That will be your dipole moment, dp, let me call it. It's not visible, right? Okay. So dp represents the dipole moment between minus dq and plus dq here. This is a plus dq, say, because it is part of this ring, no, which is positively charged, and this minus dq is part of this minus q. Okay, you just imagine that minus q is made up of many minus dqs, right? 10, I can think, is made up of 1 1 1 10 times, no, like that. Okay, similarly, now if I take see, let me show you here now. Okay, so this is your semicircle. Here minus dq I took, and at this angle theta I took one particle, that is plus dq. Dipole moment I told is from minus dq to plus dq here. This is your dp. Now if this dp is here, other dp will be seen. If I take this part, it will be here. If I take this part, it will be here. So let me take another part at same angle theta, that will be here, dp. If I take components, what will be this? This theta means this is also theta, right? So this will be dp cos theta, this will be dp sin theta. Similarly here, if I take components, I will get these two. You can see this and this will cancel, and these two will add. So like that, for every part when I will do, only these components will be in same direction. Understanding or not? So for this whole semicircle, dipole moment will be something like this. Okay, like this. From the center it will go, no? Here, 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 like that. So if you take components of all of them, you can see only these components will be in the same direction. This half will have one component down, and this half will have one component up, like here. So those components will cancel. So the point of taking the components was to understand only these components are in same direction. So since they are in same direction, total dipole moment of the system should be found by integrating the dipole moment of this system, minus dq and plus dq. So you integrate from here till you reach here. Understanding or not? And your value of dp, but you cannot add dp because dp is not in same direction. This dp is here, this dp is here. Right, students? Dipole moment is from minus to plus. So for this system, it will be here. For this system, it will be here. So you cannot add them because they are in different direction. So once you take components, what you see, these are in same directions. So we should add dp sine theta. Now what is dp? dp is magnitude of this minus dq and plus dq, magnitude you take dq into distance between them is nothing but radius r, no, this r. So this is your dipole moment. And dq I already found. dq is q d theta by pi. q d theta by pi into r. So substitute this dp here. What will I get? Q by pi r sine theta. At the last, let me write d theta. This d theta at the last. Okay. Now theta is my integration variable. I have to integrate from here till I reach this part. No, I have to start from this plus dq, this minus dq. Then I have to reach till here. Yes or no? So as I do that, my angle theta will start from 0 till it reaches here. So that time the angle will be 180 degree from 0 to pi. 180 degree means pi radian. Okay. So the physics part is over. So now we have to just do the mathematics part. So what is integration of sine theta? Integration of sine theta is differentiation of sine theta is what? Differentiation of sine theta is cos theta. So integration of cos theta will be sine theta. Ulta it is. Differentiation of cos theta is minus sine theta. So integration of minus sine theta will be cos theta. Okay, so integration of sine theta d theta will be cos theta minus cos theta. Usually we write some constant of integration, but we don't need that right now. So let us use this formula here. So dipole moment of the system will be constants you take outside. Q by pi will come out, r will come out, integration 0 to pi sine theta d theta. So qr by pi, integration sine theta is I told minus cos theta, upper limit pi, lower limit 0. Then we have to put limits. So minus cos, put upper limit pi, minus, then put lower limit, minus cos 0. Okay. So this minus is from the formula. Okay. And this minus is because in the function there is minus. Right? You know, no? After doing the integration, you have to put upper limit in the variable for this function. Okay. Now this cos pi, cos 180 degrees minus 1. So minus minus will be plus 1. So qr by pi, this will be 1. Cos 0 is 1, minus minus is plus, so plus 1. So answer is 2qr by pi. So answer is 2qr by pi. 2qr by pi, option B. Okay.